part of our problem was this was too dry. Look at the center of it.
I think it happened recently because when I turned it, maybe about 3 weeks ago, it was wet.
What do you think that is?
It's squash.
We haven't put these squash seeds in there in a while, have we?
It came from the mix from the spinner.
Okay. So you've been putting our spinners.
Yeah. And that's when it was still moist about 3 weeks ago, really moist.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to use the excavator to turn our compost that we have set, and we'll add this to it.
Okay.
This is, you know, when you get down to the bottom here, it's starting to look like something not cooked, but it's something. It's like a squash.
Yeah.
It's starting to break down pretty good down in the bottom. So it should give us a head start.
Yeah, something's been going on.
Yep. We'll take a couple trips. Get this out of here. Like I said, we were better composters and we knew how to keep the temperature up. It might have helped to keep the greenhouse warm.
Yeah.
Beyond our skill level probably at this time. We'll keep trying something.
It'll be nice having that corner back.
Yeah, that's the plan. That makes room for tomatoes and peppers and stuff. Now I built all of these little platforms here. Thinking, I think you can see my modification. So first we said, well, this is sagging too much. Heavy pot, so we're gonna have to modify them and put some braces across here, which is real easy, which I think we did on these. Yeah. So now that we have these braces across here, it doesn't sag as much when you put something heavy on it. As you can see right here.
Heavy pot sag.
Yeah, so you need to put some braces across that. We thought about one long brace through the middle, but then we found like 2 smaller braces actually work probably better. So all the newer ones had those braces. These need to come out so I can fix them and put them back in. And we'll be making a lot more of these to put around the outside perimeter of this thing. And then maybe even some ones that'll hold some pots out there as well. I've got plenty of wood, a bunch of it in the barn. It needs to get used up. So it'll be just a matter of timing and will to get it done. So here we are at a compost bin. I'm moving the stuff out of the hoop house into the starter bin. And we have this stuff here. This stuff here has been filled up to the top multiple times this year. And it's compressed down pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and add this to the stuff we just pulled out of the greenhouse or the hoop house and see if we can get, I'm just gonna call it a greenhouse even though it's not hated, just because, you know, it's too easy to say. So we'll pull this out of here, and I'm going to use the excavator to dig this out. But we know that we didn't keep up. We started off good with the compost, keeping it nice and wet inside the greenhouse. But we kind of slacked off and it got too dry. So that's probably why. The stuff at the bottom was really still good and damp. And that was actually decomposing quite well. So I don't think it'll take too long after we mix these two and we turn it maybe once or twice in the heat of the spring to turn this into some usable compost. But we're having 10 yards delivered, which should get that other field over there a good kickstart and then help finish in our rows over here that we've already got going. Hopefully. And then maybe we'll have some left to put into our we call our kitchen garden, which is in the front yard. So All right, so it's good time to click that subscribe button. See how it work out.
We love our hydraulics, but sometimes you just gotta, you know, use that elbow grease.
A little bit. We're gonna be in the upper 50s here today. The greenhouse is already at 80. We're having a hard time with the sides on it, keeping it 80. At some point we need to work on getting roll-up sides set up. There's so many projects to do. I mean, you know, we're retired, so like that. If it becomes a point where we can't keep that temperature in there, and we still feel like the nighttime temperatures are too cold, that may be a driving factor in getting the roll-up sides working. Or at least undoing the bottom batten so that we can lift it up to get more airflow in there and get them bricks out of there.
Yeah.
Once we get the garden tuned in, dialed in over the next few years, we can start working on cool stuff like pergolas and patios. Make good use of that sawmill. Let's give it a good hose down there. You go. You're reading my mind, Janie. Guess that's what nearly 40 years of marriage will do for you. We got it transferred over, got it out of the hoop house, greenhouse. Now, by the way, Jane's pushing back on me calling it a greenhouse because she says, oh no, you owe me a greenhouse. If you keep calling it a greenhouse, then I'll never get my actual greenhouse, my Haiti greenhouse. So back to hoop house. Anyway, so, yep, so that's filled back up. And like I said, this is what, about the third time or fourth time this load has been actually refilled. Now we've got that from the hoop house, and so that then it's all further along. All these leaves that are in here, they've been like double chopped, so they've been reduced. And one thing we did different that we didn't do last year was we put boards on top of it to put a little weight on it, and maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe we compressed it and it wasn't getting enough airflow. So we'll see. Last year I think we started our compost, what, June-ish?
Maybe June.
And I think by July or August, when we set up some new rows over there for the first time, we had compost. And we filtered it and it was good stuff. So hopefully by June, this will be ready to use. And when we start thinking about putting our midsummer crops in and then our fall crops, and we'll see how that goes. Again, Jane mixes our household scraps in there, and then we ultimately dump those into our compost bin here. So we don't have a batch ready, which means we buy some. And it'll be my first time ever buying compost, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna be getting. And it'll be the first time I bought any from this one particular company. I tried researching it. I didn't have much luck, but a local nursery sells it, so we'll see how it goes. It's probably a little higher priced because it's coming from a nursery like that. I don't know. Then like more of a bulk dealer. We'll have to see, but it's not too bad. How's it going in there, Janie?
Pretty good. Found some good big earthworms.
All right, I got some worms in there. That's a good sign. So you're gonna reestablish your little row here. Amend that with some compost.
Yep.
What little we got left. And chop that up good. And then I'm gonna go get you some wood chips. Put in the center here. Continue that out. I guess you'll have to turn in those mustard greens and the end of those rows down there too when you get to it.
Yeah, I was thinking at least if I get the peas in this first panel, then that would be good. And that's my goal, number one goal, is to get this first panel.
So we've disturbed this dirt now probably about 3 times.
That's what made it pretty easy to kind of like turn over.
Yeah.
I
So.
don't know if we amended it or not. Maybe parts of it.
No, I think we just, I think some of the parts over there we did. We put some compost down over there. I didn't filter it. Somebody said not to filter it, so we're going to test that theory. I don't like the way it looks. There's too many sticks in it. So probably should have filtered it. But anyway, well, it'll be interesting to see how that compost that we ordered comes. Like I said, we've never done that before. Ain't that cool though? Look at that. Got a little tunnel. I just imagine this all filled up with food. Better get it right, Janie.
Oh, no pressure. No pressure.
No pressure. All right, well, you take your time doing that. I'm gonna go get you some wood chips. I got stashed out in the woods back there. It's made from some pretty good, reasonably decomposed wood as opposed to some fresh wood. So that should be an interesting little stack of chips. So let me go get that. I'm gonna use Digger here to load those wood chips into my little wagon that I pull behind my lawnmower and take out there for Jane. In the meantime, I'm on my way out there. Check out this area that I started working on. Hopefully it's not too loud, but we've started clearing on this area here. I got a bunch of hollies and things over here. See how that, and some clearing on the other side of that. I call this the deadwood forest because there's so many dead trees over here. And this is the new property we're still trying to work on. And we're just doing it a little bit at a time. So then over here is a big beast. We think that recently fell, but obviously been dead a long time because it took out, there's a fresh holly right there that got pinned underneath it. So that must have recently fallen, and which kind of brought our attention to this area because we were talking about that. And so anyway, so I'm busting my way back through here. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of dead stuff over there. Wouldn't take but about an hour's work just to kind of, with the digger here, to stack all that. The idea is to stack it all eventually. Come out here every once in a while and crack it up with the digger and just keep busting it up until basically I can plow it into the ground. But that's what happens. For example, like you get something like that, you can come out here, in a couple months time, pick it up, shake it out with digger until you keep breaking things up. And sooner or later, you just got a big pile of sticks and it's easy to burn, and you got some, probably some decent soil that you can smooth out in here to kind of like fill it up. But that's how things have been working whenever I do one of these little clearings. So that's what's gonna happen. So there is some serious gnarly stuff going on with that old tree. Who knows? Maybe after I cut that bad boy open, we'll see that some solid wood inside there. We had that old hickory that fell. It's in an earlier video that we had cut up, and that was kind of filled with termites. But the white oak that was next to it, that it had knocked down, even though it had been down for a couple years, was still good, though not a very straight tree. We did get some saw logs out of it, but not much. But if that was straight and solid in the middle, that's some good farm wood right there for something. So we'll have to see how that is. So I'll probably shoot a video of me cutting that up and trying to get that out of here and see what we can do with it. And like I said, it's been standing, so it was a standing dead tree up until recently. So let's see how that goes. Anyway, got to get the wood chips.